All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's right at 5 o'clock, and we have a few people. I didn't really know if we were going to see anybody today or not. Grant, I know you're here. I see a couple other participants here, but I don't see them in the participant window. So if you want to, you can go ahead and just throw your, hey, Clinton, how are you, brother? It's good to see you today. Thanks for joining us. Um, We've got a few other people. Looks like they're going to be joining us here in a minute. So, really, what I wanted to do today, for those of you that are joining us or that have joined us already, is I want to take just a couple of minutes and introduce everybody to what is something we're calling the OG Society. Hey, Joe, thanks for joining us today, brother. It's good to see you. Really excited about this project, everybody. And it's one of those things that I'm hopeful that this is going to kick off. The one thing I would ask for those of you that have joined us today, please help us get the word out about the OG. This is really just in its infancy right now, but this is something that is really going to be something cool. And, while I know I kind of say that a lot and all that, hopefully you guys will feel the same way. Like and share information that we put out about the OG, and it's something that we can all truly get behind and all of that. So really what I want to do today is I want to take a few minutes, kind of walk you through the website, kind of tell you a little bit about what the OG Society is, kind of where this all came from, what the brainchild of it was, and that sort of thing. And then there'll be a lot more live events and other things that we're going to be doing in the future. So, one of the other things, guys, is that I go through this today. Obviously, if you have questions, please throw them in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions live. I'm watching the chat as we go along. And so it's one of those things that as I go through this, if you guys have some questions about what are we doing or any of that kind of stuff, just let me know. So let me tell you a little bit about where the OG Society idea came from. So most of you who know me know already that back in April of this year, due to some health challenges that I had to actually hang up my bunker boots finally and actually take a step away from actually responding to calls and actually away from the active fire service. And I will tell you that after doing this for 4 decades, I was pretty ready. But in the same token, the other thing that I do want to make sure that you guys understand is that just because I stepped away from responding to calls doesn't mean that I'm stepping away from the fire service. And, the other thing is the OG term has been thrown around in the public safety vernacular for quite a while, but it's never been formalized and all of that kind of stuff. And for those of you that are on the live event with us today, it's one of those things. Thanks, granted. It's one of those things. Old instructors are hard to break, and I'm certainly one of those. So, at the end of the day, guys, what we're really here to do is that we're still here to keep those of us that are relevant, that still have things to offer, an opportunity and a platform to still give back. Or if you're still active in the business, that you just actually have a way to be able to get involved and help mentor people and help them work through this myriad of challenges that is the public safety space and all of those kinds of things. So really the intent here is through Facebook and Instagram. We'll have a LinkedIn page, through YouTube and everything else that we do. That's where we're going to start getting this idea of the OGs out and are going to really try to make sure that what we do has relevance to it, but it also gives those of us that either have stepped away from active public safety or are thinking about it, then you're going to have something to do and a way to be able to continue to give back and be involved even after your last day on shift or anything like that. Okay. So as you look at the website, I'm going to just kind of walk us through that today, and we'll probably only do this for about 30 minutes or so. We'll see what kind of participation we get and all of those kinds of things. The main thing that I just want to make sure of is that, we just understand that really this is not intended to be just a fire thing. This is really intended to be a public safety thing. And as I kind of introduce the directors of the OG Society, you're going to see that what we're really trying to do here is we're trying to do everything that we can to support all of public safety through the OG Society. What you'll find here is that while we are kicking things off today, there is going to be a lot of change. There's going to be a lot of cool things that we're going to add over the time. We're going to be making regular announcements about new things that we're doing and all of that, including actually having a true formal member program. The idea of the member program is to give you enhanced access to the things that we do as OGs, but then also give you a chance to get more actively involved and be able to participate as a true OG. And then we can find opportunities for you to be involved, however you want to be, and all of those kinds of things. So you'll notice right from the homepage here, we actually have 4 divisions. So we have our EMS division, our fire division, our Leo division, and you can see that we really intend to include everybody within those 3 divisions, regardless if you're career, volunteer, all of those kinds of things, doesn't matter. But then in addition to that, we have a lot of us in public safety that never could just settle on either being on the red team or the blue team or the EMS team, and we wanted to do it all. And so we definitely want to make sure that for those that just had to do it all, that we actually gave them a place as well. Now, the other thing that we know, and this is a little tongue in cheek, but we do want to have fun as we do this as well, guys. And the idea here is that what we want to do is we want to just make sure that we're treating everybody inclusively and fairly and all of that kind of stuff. Even though you all know that I'm predisposed to, really root for the red team. I even wanted to just put some fun up there that says, just so that we're not making anybody upset, nobody's getting their feeling hurt. And Dennis, you'd be the first one that I would be surprised is that you would feel targeted. It's probably because you are, but it's earned. So we know that. At the end of the day, guys, what we're really trying to do here is we're just going to try and have a good time. But however you associate, however you decide that you want to get out and do these things, this is exactly what it's going to be. You're going to be able to get back exactly what you want to get into it. Now, the other thing that I have included here is I have included hyperlinks. So if you want to click on these, you can certainly do that. I want to take us to the About Us page, because while this is a general guideline, we'll take all comers that want to be part of the OG society. Okay. Now, obviously, we're kind of leaning towards those that have been doing this a really long time. Why? Because we've got a lot of things that we've screwed up over time, and it gives us a platform in which to be able to share lessons learned. The idea here is that this is going to be a no finger pointing, no blaming kind of environment, though. And everything that we share is under the interest of learning from each other and being able to help people not, do some of the stupid things that Lord knows I've done and everybody else has done too. So you can read through this, all of us are grown-ups here and we know how to be able to read. But at the same time, the one thing that I do want to make sure that everybody understands is that we have a very, very specific mission statement here. And most of you that are joining us today live, I already know who you are, and I know your servant's heart, and I know that this is something that you guys all get behind and subscribe to. And that is very simply that we're here to leave it better than you found it. But one of the things that you'll notice in all of our logo designs, the Leave It Better Than You Found It acronym is very prominent in everything that we do to serve as a reminder to all of us that this is a big part of what we're going to do. And then here's some just suggestions about ways that you can get involved in this program, things that you can do to participate. And the more that you want to be involved, the more that you're going to have opportunities to do that going forward. So from there, we'll talk about the divisions very specifically. As we go through the website here, you'll notice that, again, we have all 4 divisions. So I'm going to take just a few minutes here to walk you through the divisions, kind of talk about what each of the divisions are going to do. We do have directors that are going to kind of manage each division. Each of them come from a specialty within these divisions that will help you to kind of feel at home and to kind of guide what each of these divisions do. So we're going to start off here with the EMS division. Most of you know who this EMS director is. The EMS director is my good friend, Jeff Duckworth. And I leaned on Jeff and Dennis is, Jeff is the most recent director. Jeff actually agreed to take this on yesterday. So he's very, very new to it. But, for those of you that know Jeff, Jeff has been around the public safety space for almost 4 decades. And as he's been long in the tooth here, one of the other things about Jeff, if you didn't know this, is that Jeff is much about special operations and has been a paramedic for, as long as some of us have actually been on the planet. Makes him very qualified to be an OG. And as a result of that, everything that Jeff does, and this is what I was sharing with Jeff yesterday, is that everything that he has done has always been based upon patient care. Makes him a great paramedic and makes him an ideal candidate to be our director of EMS. Now, for those of you that are joining us live today, and those of you that have friends that are in the EMS space, this is the guy that everybody's going to be able to work with and be able to help with writing blog articles, joining Jeff when he does and hosts the OG Saturday podcast, and the EMS division is going to take that on from time to time. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to be going on that will allow EMS OGs to certainly be an active participant. So from there, we'll move into the fire division. And so at least initially, I'm going to serve as the founder and as the fire division director. Really, the idea here is that, again, I would imagine that at some point, I'm going to step aside from being the director for the fire division and really focus on just being the founder and directionally try and guide the OG going forward. In the meantime, though, this is another place where, everybody that is associated with fire service that wants to be part of the OG, this is where we're all going to work together. Again, everybody who is within the fire division and associates with the fire division will have opportunities to participate in podcasts, submit blogs, and a variety of different content that you guys are all passionate about and all of those things. So then we're going to go over here to the LE division. And under the LE division, my good friend and co-law enforcement brother over in Wisconsin, Dave Funkhauser, is going to be leading that up. Now, Dave was most of you locally here in Missouri don't know Dave. But Dave was a fast friend of mine about 2 years ago when we were working together at Lexipol. And what you need to know about Dave is that Dave is actually a former police chief, now also city manager in Wisconsin. And he and I very much are like-minded when we think about leadership and all of those things. And Dave and I had the pleasure of actually doing a servant leadership webinar together yesterday. And it's just so cool spending time with Dave and all of that kind of stuff. So Dave's going to be heading up our law enforcement division. Again, all of the things that I was talking about with EMS and fire, we're going to do in law enforcement too. And I'm just really thankful that I've been able to get Dave to participate and be the LE director. Last but not least, we also have a public safety division. For all of you crazies out there that just were weirdos enough not to be able to figure out how to do one thing, I have one of my favorite people on the planet, Jen Moss, who is going to be leading up our public safety division. Like many of you that are in the public safety space, Jen has been through it all. She's been in multi-agency in different activities. She has been in academy settings where fire and law enforcement actually had to cohabitate, which we all know doesn't work very well, but they actually successfully did it. Nobody killed each other, and a variety of different things. So Jen's from Arizona, and she will be on a future live broadcast, and we'll get a chance for you guys to meet all of the directors. And there'll be a lot more information coming out, including bios about Jen and Dave and Jeff and myself and all of that kind of stuff as we continue to build out the website and all of that. So then from there, we're going to actually have different blogs, and this is going to be something that we're going to be putting out about every week to 10 days or so. So these are blank right now. It's only temporary as we get ready to start publishing these over the next week. But this will be something that you'll be able to subscribe to. And in addition to that, it will be something that you will be able to contribute to the directors. And then we will be happy to post it on your behalf, give you credit for what it is that you're posting and all of those kinds of things. So if you got something a burr under your saddle, something you need to get out of your craw or get off of your chest, You can submit it to these directors. They will post them on your behalf and give you credit for it. So that way you can be an active participant in the public safety section or any of the blogs that we do. So another thing that I'm really excited about, and this was a project that Dave and I started. Dave and I had an opportunity over the last year and a half or so to actually travel on several different trips as we traveled around various states and did what we called loops. We did a loop of Michigan, we did a loop of Wisconsin, we did some speaking in Oklahoma. But every time that Dave and I got together, it's kind of like, as I've spent time with a lot of you that are on today's call, we just get together and we start talking. And obviously we have to go out there and save the world and solve all the world's problems and all of those kinds of things. But there's been a lot of good stuff that's certainly worth sharing that we're going to add as video content under this behind the windshield segment. So stay tuned. Dave and I are going to start recording those here very, very quickly. And then we're going to start posting that information up there. And so these placeholders will be replaced with video and all of that kind of stuff. Now, here's the other thing. This is an opportunity where if you and one of the directors wants to do a behind the windshield kind of idea, and you guys get on and you just take a topic of the day and you want to record it, we can do that. And then what we'll do is we'll upload it and we'll put behind the windshield stuff up here, and we'll just put it up here to where people can share it, people can watch it, people can get a good chuckle out of it. You know, the idea, folks, is that we really want to make sure that we're having a lot of fun, and we're also sharing usable information that is going to make everybody safer, smarter, better. I mean, I don't know that we can do all of those things, but that's the goal. And from there, you know, those are the kinds of things that we want to do under the behind the windshield header. Okay. So in 2 weeks, we are going to start doing a weekly Saturday OG podcast. Now, the podcasts are very, very specific. And what we're going to start doing is we're going to start keeping a list of topics for the podcast that we're going to do. This is going to be at first a panel discussion with the directors, and then we're going to start inviting guests to join us on these Saturday podcasts. They're going to last an hour. The idea is grab a cup of joe, grab whatever pastry or cereal or whatever it is that you want to have to eat, and just join us for an hour of discussion about all things public safety and whatever the topic of the day is. I've talked to a few of you already about the opportunity to actually get on a podcast and talk about, you know, whatever is relevant that day. So stay tuned. We're going to make sure that we actually put a list together and actually host a calendar so that way you can see what podcasts are coming up and what the topics are that we're going to cover. And then from there, the other thing that we're going to do is that we're going to start inviting people to join us. I have a list of people that I've already established. Dave has too. Jeff and Jen are working on their list right now. And if there is something that you would like to offer and join us for a Saturday podcast, feel free to email me. You can either email me at my email address that I've had for 1,000 years, which is firedogsgf@gmail.com, or my new OG email, which is just bbiorgi@OGPS. So the way to remember that is ogpublicsafetysociety.org. And that will be the way that you can actually do all of that. So the last thing that I want to talk about today is I want to talk about our merch. And the merch, folks, you know, I got to tell you, it's not worth doing anything if it's not cool, right? And we all dress in Granimals for grown-ups. We all like to have stuff that we do and all of that. So as I was thinking about this and thinking about how can I support the operation of the OG, because as much as I'd love to say all of this is free, it's not. And it's one of those things, though, that I do want to make sure that we're giving back to public safety and all that. So our merch is one of the ways that we're going to generate a little bit of revenue for the OG. And at the same time, we're going to start a scholarship program that is going to specifically give back to junior and youth public safety programs. So if you have a junior program, an explorer program, a cadet program, a medical explorer program or something like that, and maybe you need money for some uniform items, a pair of boots, or something along those lines. We are going to use revenue that we generate from all things OG, not just merch, but as we get into some other ideas that we have in the stovepipe, we are going to be generating some revenue. We are going to have a membership section so that way people can actually join us as a member. But at the same time, one of the things that I want you guys to understand is that while we're going to use some of that revenue to be able to operate on, we're also going to be giving back and helping bring along the next generation of public safety responders for replacement of those of us that qualify as OGs today. So as you look at the OG site, and I'm sure many of you have already kind of scrolled down through here, I got to give props to my brother, Taylor McLaughlin, better known as Tin Man. And Taylor has been 100% absolutely ecstatic about the OG project and was more than happy to join us on this journey. So one of the things that Taylor has done is not only does he have his website, but we actually have an OG store. And when you go to the OG store, this is exactly all things OG. And so it gives you an opportunity to be able to look at that. And then, as Taylor says, now you can actually shop just like an OG. So we have a lot of really cool merchandise that you can go directly to Taylor's website, purchase right off of his website. And it's everything from helmet shields to challenge coins to metal playing cards to wallets and license plates. And if we have more suggestions on different license plates that we can do and all of that kind of stuff, guys, please let us know. We want to have a lot of fun with this merchandise. And if you know anything about Taylor and Taylor's Tins, he's constantly coming up with new ideas, came out with some new stuff today, including baseball jerseys, came out with street signs yesterday that are just absolutely cool. So, make sure that you spend some time dabbling around on the OG store, but then also make sure that you take some time and hang out at Taylor's website and just see all things that Taylor does. So again, we have stuff specific for fire, law enforcement, EMS, and public safety. And we're going to be adding more merch to this site as we get suggestions and new ideas. So just know that there's always going to be stuff in the stovepipe. And we will make sure that if there are things that we need to add, or if there's requests that you have that you'd like to be able to purchase from the OG store from Taylor, just let us know. And we'll be happy to add those items to your list. So then the other thing is we wanted to make sure that we could actually come out with apparel. And so the apparel is not completely built out yet, but we have a good bit of it from our friends from Works of Art located here in Branson. So they also have their own website. So if you are looking for an opportunity to be able to go out and get your own logo wear for your fire department, your law enforcement agency, or whatever, certainly you can use Works of Art to do that, just like you can use Taylor's Tins to do that for your organization. But we also have an OG store here. So you'll find here that we've got everything from performance tees, short sleeve, long sleeve, and all of that. We also have quarter zips. We've got chore coats. We've got everything that you want, including hats. Again, 25% of the proceeds from all of the merch that you buy, whether it's from Taylor's Tins or if it's from Works of Art, is actually going to go to the OGs so that we can do the scholarships, operate, and do the things that we can. So it's a dual purpose purchase. You're going to get some cool swag, and at the same time, you're going to help the OG with our mission. So as we kind of wrap up the website and all of those kinds of things, I do want to just kind of pause here for a minute, see what everybody kind of thinks. Feel free to drop a message in the chat for me. If you got some questions or anything like that you want to do, as you're doing that, let me know what your thoughts are. And then I also want you to know that we do also are going to have a vinyl shop that we are going to have available. So everything from window stickers to water bottle stickers and everywhere else in between is something that we are also going to host. We're doing that through a wholesaler. And so we will actually do that from our website. and you guys will be able to purchase that directly from the OGs. So I'm sure the other thing that you guys are kind of wondering is, all right, so this is all pretty cool, but what is in store in the future? Where's the OGs going? So there's a couple of projects that we are going to be doing, and it's going to be stuff that we're going to build out over time. Okay, so I'm just going to go back here to the homepage here. And then from there, we're just going to start talking about directionally where the OG is going. So we talked about, the blogs, we talked about the podcasts and all of those kinds of things. So there's really a couple of other really important projects that we're going to take on. One of them that we're going to do is that we're going to start hosting video micro training sessions. Okay. And when we talk about the video micro training sessions, this is where YouTube is going to come in. For those of you that know about the video production company I used to operate, Firedog Digital Media, if you noticed yesterday on Facebook, Firedog Digital Media came back from the ashes and it phoenixed back to life. And so one of the things that we're going to do is that we're going to give OGs an opportunity to either develop your own video on a training topic that you feel is important and would like to share, or we'll actually come on site with you and we'll put something together. Maybe it's recruiting and retention for a fire department or an EMS agency or something along those lines. Maybe it's a cool tactic that you are really proud of and that works for your agency. Whatever that is, if it's video, that's where the OGs are going to put it on YouTube. Now, we are going to monetize that. And so it's one of those things that, we're going to just try to help the OGs spread the word and all that kind of stuff, get you some recognition at the same time. And then from there, the other part that we'll be able to do is we'll be able to share this content with everybody and be able to help them do the things that they need to do. Now, the other thing that when we think about training, and y'all know that I'm a training guy through and through and through, is that a lot of times we're like, man, I wish I could come up with a PowerPoint slide on this or on that or on, topic of the day, whatever. So the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to start developing 1 to 4 hour training classes that are going to include a slide deck. They're also going to be voiced over. So that way, if somebody wants to be able to use it in an online learning format or something like that, you'll be able to do that. A lot of it's going to be leadership, though, at least initially. And that's stuff that Dave and I are very, very passionate about. But it doesn't mean that that's what it all has to be restricted to. I know many of you that are on this live call today also have things that you're passionate about and really would like the opportunity to develop some solid content. So those are the things that we're going to do. And we're going to make them available on the OG Society website. So again, this is all part of how we're going to grow, and we're going to grow as a society. The idea here is that it's not going to be Bruce's ideas or Dave's ideas or Jeff's ideas or Jen's ideas. That's not what this is about. This is truly intended to be a society of public safety responders that are full of ideas and are wanting to get their ideas out. So the OG is really intended to be a platform and a mechanism for you to have that opportunity to put yourself out there, to become more than just your own local expert. And so that's a big part of what we hope to be doing in the future. The other thing that we also want to do is that we also want to make sure, though, that with everything that we do, it's going to be of high quality, very, very professional, but at the same time, it's also going to be where we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. Most of us know that when you go to training classes, and I know several of you have been in a training class with me, and I'm really sorry for that. But in the same token, I really try not to be a stuffed shirt. I try to be lighthearted. I try to be fun and all of those kinds of things. But a lot of public safety training today is as dry as it can possibly be. And that's what we want to avoid. So everything that we do training wise is going to be fun. It's going to be lighthearted. It's going to be high impact, and it's going to be cool. And so the idea is that if you have ideas, start putting a pen to paper, start figuring out how you might want to do that. And then we will get together and we will figure out how to give you a platform in which to be able to do that. So then the last project that we're going to do, and this is primarily out of necessity for Dave Funkhauser and myself. As you guys know, Dave and I have a tendency to travel around and speak and all of those kinds of things. So the other thing that we're going to do with the OG Society is that it's going to be an opportunity as we start being that platform for people to be able to get information out, is that if somebody likes what you have to say and would be interested in inviting you to speak at a conference or an event of some sort, this will also be a conduit where people who are the intake of this kind of content can actually come to the OG Society and find somebody that they may want to invite to come and speak at their event. So again, it's going to be an opportunity for all of you to really be able to put yourself out there. And so we're going to allow people to be able to request speakers. And if you want to become a speaker, we'll go through a process that we still haven't really thought about, but how we can help you develop, how we can get you on a topic that you're passionate about, and then put a program together and see if we can get you maybe to FRI or FDIC or some of those other things, and see if we can help you actually get to those goals that maybe you have, even if they seem to be a long shot. Because the thing is, all you got to do is keep trying and you will eventually get there. So there's a lot of really cool things that we're going to be able to do, folks. And so as I kind of wrap up our live event today, again, I really just want to take 30 minutes and kind of walk you through kind of what the OG is today, what the website has to offer, and kind of what we have planned. We've got big stuff waiting in the wings. But what is really going to make this organization successful is when all of you that have joined us on today's call is going to help us get the word out about the OG, get involved, and we together can do some great things as a society. So I really appreciate those of you that have joined us today. Hopefully this was informational for you. I will stay on for a couple of minutes here. If any of you have any questions that you want to throw up in the chat or anything like that, you're certainly welcome to do so. I'll be glad to answer those questions for you. Otherwise, thanks for joining us today, and you will hear about more of the OG Society coming up real soon. Thanks for coming, guys. Have a great Friday.